thing, and you're saying, okay, well, you're going to take away chicken and, you know, eggs or whatever it is, and that's how you're used to getting your protein, you got to figure out the new way. So yeah, I eat a lot of legumes, a lot of vegetables. I'm mostly whole foods, so but I do a lot of tofu. I love tofu. Uh, but lots
Oh,
lots of vegetables, fruits. How what?
do you do any processed supplements?
Sometimes I do, not a whole lot, every once in a while. Um, like
Any?
Beyond, like for example, Beyond Meat they just came out with new products, so they got a really hard time. So in this right now in this stage in the game of our country's evolution, right? We've got the carnivores kind of we've got like those extremes, right? And they'll call vegan extreme, then they'll call like carnivore extreme. But what we have to know is like the new food pyramid, for example. We have to look at who's creating that food pyramid and who's getting the money. Like we follow the money. Like if you look on the committee who is creating those food pyramids, they're all backed by the dairy and meat industries, every single
Mm.
one of them. So when they're putting meat up at the top and saying eat beef tallow, they're getting paid and easy um, and I find that that's kind of what I've been doing the last 15 years to
So
really.
I actually imagine that any type of activism, sometime, you guys put your heart and soul into this thing, right? Whatever it may be, right? I imagine sometime it can become kind of emotionally heavy. So how do you actually stay grounded through all that?
Yeah, it is heavy, but you know what? I think that's where for me the spiritual path and and discovering Tai Chi. I've been a go-getter my whole life. Like I've been hustling, I've been running, I've been moving, I've dealt with a significant amount of trauma and there's been a lot of pain in my life. But it always goes back and I feel like it's it goes back to this underlying, here's what I'm here for. I'm here
Yeah.
to spread my light and share. And if I'm not living my best life, if I'm not doing well, then I can't shine that light. So it always comes back to I've got to take care of me, and which is something the morning meditations with you, Sifu,
Mm-hmm.
has been a game changer for me to help me slow down. And like you say, like taking charge of the day before the day takes charge of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having that, because for me, slowing down is the hardest thing. But I've been through burnout. And that's
Mm.
something that a lot of us, like vegans who feel very strongly about this,
Right.
a lot of us burn out, and it's hard
Mm-hmm.
again to be connected to that suffering. I mean, I ended up in Peru doing ayahuasca because I like fell off the deep end one year,
Mm.
because I couldn't slow down. And when I went and got my yoga teacher certification and got an Ayurvedic medicine consultation, I was dealing with insomnia and all sorts of different things from going. They said, you got to slow down. And it was when I got back from that trip that I met up with Sifu Fred and said, okay, I'm committed. I'm committed to Tai Chi. And
Mm-hmm.
I started that Tai Chi practice, which was, I'm not gonna lie, it was really hard for me at first for many, many months. I knew that I had to slow down. I knew that I had to
Mm-hmm.
slow down and get more intentional and not think I had to be productive all the time, not think and understand that doing this for me is doing it for the world, is doing it for the animals.
Your thoughts on veganism and practicing. How do you look at like corporate medicines and what doctors would script or whatever? Do you tend to either just grade them and use what you have to use, or you stay away from 'em completely?
Like Western medicine.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay away as much as I can. I think there's a room for a blend, I think there's something systemically, what I would love to see is doctors actually getting nutrition education because the problem, one of the huge problems is, doctors are getting paid to prescribe drugs, right?
Hmm.
And not to help. It's sick care, not health care. We're talking about, dealing with health problems once they come with prescription medications. This is not lifestyle related. And when we talk about epigenetics, right? Like we're all born with specific genes, but I think that it's like 95% of genes we get to determine whether we kind of turn them off or turn them on. And those are based on our lifestyle choices. It's what is in our environment, it's the toxins, it's what we're consuming. So, yeah, unfortunately, the kind of medicine that's covered by insurance is all about, dealing with sickness through prescription medication. I hope
Yes.
we're not prescribing people healthy diets. We're prescribing people, here's the next weight loss drug. And doctors are not educated. I mean, I think they are educated a little more than they used to be, but barely at all on nutrition. I mean, it's
Do
just
you feel
insane.
personally you are more healthy for the vegan diet?
I mean, I have nothing to compare it to since I've been vegan almost my whole life, but at 45 years old, thinking about where I'm at in my life and my health and my fitness level, like I don't know a lot of 45-year-old women doing muscle ups and training for 3 hours a day and jump kicking kung fu.
No.
Yeah. I feel pretty good. I mean, we've all but the other thing is just because you're vegan and eating healthy doesn't, make you immune
Oh
from
yeah.
other things. I mean, we're all breathing air that's polluted. We're drinking water, we're trying to purify it the best we can, but we've got microplastics everywhere
Yeah.
in everything. It's in the clothes we wear, it's in the lotion that we put on our skin. So it's
Mm.
it's really challenging, and we just have to, in my opinion, we have to do the best we can with the education we have and the finances that we have and let go of the rest and do the
So you mentioned microplastics. Do you do anything to help rid your body of microplastics that you would recommend to anybody?
well,
Anything in particular?
I mean, I think, drinking a lot of really good purified water daily is important. I think most of us don't drink enough water to help detoxify the body. Adding a little bit of sea salt, mineral salt to your water is really helpful. It
Mm.
iodizes the water, and it's more closely related to the composition of the water that we run on, that our body's made out of. So that's
Right.
really helpful. I use what's called a Terramin clay. It's a detoxing mineral clay from the earth that I have a tablespoon every morning in my water that helps
Mm.
to kind of bind with heavy metals. I'm not sure if it does anything with microplastics, but it definitely helps with ridding your body of heavy metals, which is also in
Mm.
a lot of our water. Um, and just, yeah, eating as much whole plant foods, sweating. I mean, I love being hot and sweating. Why I live in Miami. Yeah,
Don't
the
say it.
daily detox saunas, great.
Right.
I was so happy to start to discover more about Chinese medicine and how I cannot stand being cold. Like I am allergic to the cold. And for a while I was like, oh, do I need to get on that? Like, what are the ice baths, right? And I got in
Mm.
one ice bath and my whole being was like, this is not good. This is not good.
Oh,
Okay,
I've
so
got a question. You mentioned that you had experienced ayahuasca.
Mhm.
When you did that, did you come back changed in any way?
Yeah, I did. That's an experience that's very hard to, describe. It was a really amazing spot in Peru in the Amazon jungle with five indigenous shaman who led those ceremonies. So it was very intense over the six ceremonies over the course of 11 days. And I think it's a reminder. I think those things and doing, like a psychedelic experience with mushrooms or something like that. I think to me it's a reminder, and it's a reconnection that you experience with the universe when you start to when I would see, you see the sky in geometric shapes, and you just remember that this journey we're on, like, this isn't like real in a sense, right? Like, we're here, we're doing our thing, but we don't need to take it quite so seriously, right? Like, we can be in it and kind of play this game while we're on Earth without being so in it, if that makes sense, and to
Mhm.
really feel that connection with the trees and the forests and the earth and the universe, and to have an out of body experience so we're not so attached. It really helps with becoming less attached, I think.
Letting go,
As
right?
the Buddha says, that have that attachment is really the source of our suffering. We can.
There's something about you mentioned Tai Chi, and although your experience is just basically getting started, has it changed the way you practice Muay Thai? Have you
Mm.
Do you have a different feeling about Muay Thai because of the Tai Chi experience?
Yeah, I'm really working toward applying the principles to my Muay Thai. So I just started back boxing. So I'm 9 months out of my last ACL surgery. And I recovered, like, my PT was like, I've never seen anybody recover so fast, number one. And number two, I promised to wait a full year before I went sparring again, Muay Thai, since I already tore my ACL twice sparring Muay Thai. But I just started doing more boxing. So I'm trying to really change 20 years of habits with my Muay Thai, right? Like, in Muay Thai, we kind of like got shoulders up, and everything I've been doing since starting Tai Chi, I have been taking the tension out of my shoulders, right? And I feel that moving down my back, what I used to, for 40 years of my life, like holding my tension like most people do up in my shoulders. I find I'm like a different person than when I started Tai Chi, right? So, but then when I start to like spar, when I get in my boxing, I immediately, you know, have my shoulders up, and I'm trying to slow it down, and really taking the energy up from the earth now. And so I'm very conscious of that. And
Hmm.
so I'm working on applying those things. I think it's going to be a process because, my body's programmed, right, to have been training this one way for so long. But I can absolutely see and understand how applying the principles that I'm learning in Tai Chi is going to make my Muay Thai game so much stronger and so much better. I meet some of those, like, it's kind of it's such a stress reliever for me, the Muay Thai, and it's also a dopamine hit, when I'm sparring. Like, there's something so meditative about sparring with another human being. Like, you can't be anywhere else. Like, if you are somewhere else, you are going to get knocked out, right? So, like, it's this very intensive moving meditation, which I can now achieve with my Tai Chi. And now I'm working on with the Kung Fu. And so now, if I can combine those and bring those back into the Muay Thai training, I'm excited to see what will come of that. Yeah.